وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. The topic today is called Ma'rifah Billah, the knowledge you acquire through Allah Azza wa Jal. Like Allah Azza wa Jal talked about Al-Abdu Salih Al-Khudr, فوجدا عبدا من عبادنا آتيناه رحمة من عندنا وعلمناه من لدنا علما. We taught him directly. Allah gave knowledge directly to Al-Khudr. And this is why scholars sometimes call it as ilm ladunni, from Allah Azza wa Jal. So when knowledge comes through Allah Azza wa Jal, is different than when you go and acquire the knowledge. Because acquiring the knowledge doesn't make people really value Allah and measure Allah as He deserves to be measured. You need Allah Azza wa Jal to enlighten you yourself, and then you become like, a source of wisdom sometimes, talking about things which people, where did it come from, how he managed to convince people like this. And the Prophet ﷺ said, إن دعامة البيت أساسه, what keep the house up and safe is the base. The base is, build the column on top. With the Deen, what keep your religion safe and strong is knowing Allah Azza wa Jal. And واليقين والعقل القامع, so you have the full conviction, full knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jal, and you have the brain who control your behavior. And Aisha said, بأبي أنت وأمي ما العقل القامع? She asked him, what's the dominating brain? Or asked the Prophet, قال الكف عن معاصي الله والحرص على طاعة الله. So to have a functioning brain, you need to show that you are actually avoiding the haram, don't disobey Allah Azza wa Jal, and you are always keen to obey Allah. Because if He's the source, if He's the maker, if He's the creator of us, obviously He knows best about what's best for us, what's bad for us. So if you follow Allah Azza wa Jal, you will be controlling your lust and desires and instinct feeling, like the animal part in us. He wants food whenever he likes it. He wants to have as much money as possible. He wants to do things, dominate or whatever. So the teacher of Al-Qushayri, Abu Ali al-Daqqaq, he gave a summary about Ma'rifah ala lisan al-ulama. So ilm, he's saying here, knowledge is to know about something. You know about cars, you know about electricity, you know about medicine. And every ma'rifah, every knowledge you get is ilm. You have ilm about it, you have knowledge about it. وَكُلُّ عَالِمٍ بِاللَّهِ عَارِفٍ. If you are, you have the knowledge, you have the information about Allah Azza wa Jal, you are عارف. You'll be called عارف, that you know your subject. وَكُلُّ عَارِفٍ عَالِمٍ. So you are عارف, you have the knowledge. So you are also عالم, you have the ilm. وعند هؤلاء القوم, for the Sufis, صفة من عرف الحق سبحانه وتعالى بأسمائه وصفاته ثم صدق الله تعالى في معاملته. So you'll be knowing Allah Azza wa Jal by knowing His names and His descriptions, and you are truthful with Allah Azza wa Jal in your deeds, and you drop all the bad behavior and bad characters and rude manners, and you stay by the door of Allah Azza wa Jal, waiting for Allah Azza wa Jal to accept you and make your heart linked to Allah Azza wa Jal. So when Allah Azza wa Jal see that you are really keen, Allah Azza wa Jal will start giving you the knowledge. So you might discover things other people missed it. And you are not going to listen to your own desires, or the thoughts come from shaitan. So any thoughts will take you away from Allah Azza wa Jal, you push it away. I haven't finished. and you are freed from all these diseases of the heart, and you are clean. You don't have any, people don't make any remarks about your behavior, about your characters, and you keep yourself with Allah Azza wa Jal and talk to Him, and you go back to Him, and you find yourself that you start talking about things the way Allah Azza wa Jal wanted you to talk about, and explain about Allah Azza wa Jal the way Allah wants you to explain. At that time, you become Arif Billah. You are Arif Billah. All your knowledge is monitored by Allah Azza wa Jal and thrown into your heart by Allah Azza wa Jal. And he's saying here, as far as you are away from your self, your desires, your like and dislike, and you're closer to what Allah likes, the closer to Allah you become, the more Arif, the more knowledgeable from Allah Azza wa Jal directly. And scholars has mentioned more about knowledge coming from Allah Azza wa Jal. And Abu Ali al-Daqqaq said, من أمارات معرفة بالله حصول الهيبة من الله. If you really have knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jal, you greatly value Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, like, I'll give you an example, like if the adhan start, you switch off the TV or freeze the recorder, you stop, talking to people, because it's the adhan of Allah Azza wa Jal. If the Quran is read, you listen, and or you stop the reading, but you don't let the Quran is reading and you are busy talking to other people on the phone and mobile. So Allah Azza wa Jal become very important. It's like a child who's 7-8 years old, and the head teacher comes, and the assembly, all of them will be standing like this, terrified of the situation. Al-Hayba min Allah. فَمَنْ ازْدَادَتْ مَعْرِفَتُهُ, if your knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jal increases, your fear of Allah Azza wa Jal and your value to Allah Azza wa Jal increases. Hayba is, like we mentioned last week, is more admires and value and respect, and put them together become Hayba. Not because you automatically have Hayba from the police, not because you are wrong, not because they are savage or they are sinister, but this is the way the system is. Give you the people in power, give you that Hayba, and Allah Azza wa Jal, the one, the creator. And Allah Azza wa Jal will give you the sakina, the tranquility in the heart, and you're not going to be shaken by any bad news or any hearsay or any remarks people make. And as Shibli said, ليس لعارف علامة ولا لمحب شكوى. If you have the knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jal, you are not linked to Allah Azza wa Jal. Your link only will be with Allah Azza wa Jal. You have no link to other people. You treat them, you deal with them, you discuss with them, but your link is with Allah, the main link with Allah Azza wa Jal. And you don't complain about people. So people usually easily complain to each other. If it's from Allah Azza wa Jal, if Allah allows it, so why to go start shouting at people? وَلَا لِعَبْدٍ دَعْوَةٍ. Don't go and claim, oh, I own this, it's mine, this is you don't have this, you had that, I should have this. They say, okay, you like it, take it. I'm not actually bothered. وَلَا لِخَائِفٍ قَرَارٍ. You don't fear anyone. And وَلَا لِأَحَدٍ مِنَ اللَّهِ فِرَارٍ. And you don't run away from Allah, because where are you going to run? So that's Arif Billah. You are Arif, your knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jal, and your knowledge Billah. Because of Allah Azza wa Jal, you had this knowledge, and you know Allah. So your knowledge about Allah is great. And the saying here, Shibli was asked about a Ma'rifah. He said, the start of Ma'rifah is to know Allah Azza wa Jal, and there's no end to it. It's infinite. There's no end to Ma'rifah. Obviously, as much as Allah Azza wa Jal see you deserve to know, will give you more knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ, and one day he kept talking about what's going to happen to the end of life. all day, and then you will see this, and you will see this. There's a lot of hadith about what will happen towards the end of time, towards the day of judgment, before the Sa'ah, before the day of judgment. This will happen, that will happen. And the Sahaba, things remembered and things they didn't remember. But because so many of them, and their memory was, quite sharp, and they managed to catch a lot. And Abu Hafs said, since I knew Allah Azza wa Jal, it wasn't, I wasn't relying on my ibadah, nor affected by shaitan. So you're doing the ibadah, but he is not relying on ibadah. Allah's mercy will get you to Jannah. And Allah Azza wa Jal, the Prophet ﷺ said, لن يدخل أحدكم عمله الجنة. None of you will enter Jannah because of his deeds. They said, even you, Ya Rasulullah. He said, even me, unless Allah include me in his mercy. Now,
so, I mean, this ilm al-dunni, which the scholars talk about, and there is another group who kind of opposes that. Is that because why Allah has given some ilm to somebody and not to others, that kind of goes against the sunnah of the Allah. So what do we understand with this ilm al-dunni? Because what kind of ilm is that?
Nearly all humans have the chance to get ilm al-dunni. When Einstein had knowledge about the relativity, he said just the idea appeared to him. He just, thought about it. It wasn't like, thinking about relativity for months or years. The idea just suddenly appeared to him. When this guy who discovered the penicillin, it was also Allah chose this guy to discover, this thing's killing all the germs. When this guy made the discovery about semiconductors, he just heated the brome and put it in the middle of the zinc to create one-way direction for the electron things. And most of the discovery, they call it discovery. They suddenly discovered this. They were doing something else and they discovered this, because Allah Azza wa Jal unraveled things to them. And the more you are keen to discover, the more you are keen to help people, the more you are keen to sort something, the more Allah Azza wa Jal gives you ideas. It's like Talha was talking about Khalid ibn al-Walid today in the khutbah, that he engineered a way to fight 1 to 100 himself. It's just Allah gave him the idea. Do it this way. And he's done it, and he's saved the Muslim army and withdrew. So, and the same would happen in many occasions when Allah Azza wa Jal gives you the key to something. So when it is about Allah Azza wa Jal, about His religion, you will find that must be from Allah Azza wa Jal to me directly to do this extra things for people. But Allah doesn't choose all the people, because some of them, their brain is not enough to handle things, or they are not qualified. They don't have enough knowledge about the world. They don't have enough knowledge about the society. They don't have enough motivation. Who knows? Yeah.
The thing is that when Prophet said that I have completed the deed, because when we talk about ilm al-dunni, we are talking about not the worldly knowledge. We're talking about specifically the knowledge of the deen here. So why Allah has not given or completed and left some for some specific person who are coming later on, which again still kind of make me feel that as well, that when we talk about ilm al-dunni, we're talking about some special ilm which is coming to a person which has not come to us by Prophet Sallallahu.
Yeah, this is the beauty of Islam. If it was everything revealed at that time and sealed, that's it, then the rest of us would be like a robot following the instruction. You program him in. While most of the knowledge of Islam has been collected, classified, interpreted, translated, explained by a huge number of scholars, and Allah Azza wa Jal gave them the fame because of that, and the reputation, and Allah Azza wa Jal made them feel they have contributed to the religion. like Bukhari when he collected the hadith, like Muslim when he collected the hadith, and they kept collecting hadith, and Dami and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, some say collected here 55,000 hadith, and some say he collected even more. So he became like the hadith was there, but he needs collection, and who championed that? Allah Azza wa Jalla chose to make. Until now, people discover things in the Quran, in the hadith, which is when Allah Azza wa Jalla want to spread this across the Muslims until the Day of Judgment. And secondly, the brain will not handle that because their scientific knowledge are very primitive. Like the Prophet ﷺ was asked by a Jew, how is it that the boy become like, a boy or the girl? And the Prophet ﷺ said, it's a race. And if the man's like win the race, become a boy. When the woman like win the race, become a girl. And if nobody knew at that time that is actually the sperm racing is 20, 30, 40 million or even more racing to get to the egg. And it's true. Like خلقناهم من نطفة إذا تمنى فجعل منه الزوجين الذكر والأنثى أليس ذلك بقادر أن يحيي الموتى. That Allah Azza wa Jal minhu, from the man, created الذكر and the unsa, the male and the female chromosomes. The Arab, because their knowledge, biology knowledge is so primitive, they didn't actually study it in depth, and they kept accusing the woman of harming girls. It was not her fault. There's nothing to do with her. It's you, the man, who actually gave me a female sperm, and you gave me male sperm. When the Quran said وَالْأُمَّهَاتُ يُرْضَعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ, women should breastfeed for 2 years if they want their children, if they want to keep feeding their children. It wasn't until 2003 when the research came and showed the best breastfeeding is 2 years. So it took long time. Why? Like, we talk about milk mother. You can't marry your milk sister and milk brother. And it wasn't until 3 years ago an Australian discovered that you get stem cells from the milk, and the stem cells have the genetic component of the breastfeeding mothers. So you have, in fact, in the past you used to say gamma globulin come, but this research showed no, you have really cells coming from your mother, from your milk mother, could be a part of. So when the question came about surrogacy, I was in a conference in Egypt, and the Shia said it's halal, and they took it as similar to breastfeeding. We took it, the Sunnah side, we took it as there's a hadith, a type of adultery is putting your sperm in a womb of a woman who is not your wife. So for the Sunni part of the scholars, they took it as haram because you're putting your sperm in a womb of a woman who is not your wife, while they took it like breastfeeding. And breastfeeding, you give genetic components, and she's allowed to breastfeed, but become haram for her to marry her. So this is why the religion spread. Allah Azza wa Jal honored us by sitting here, sometimes discover things. Like I was talking to Sheikh Ali Jum'ah, Mufti of Egypt at the time, that Allah Azza wa Jal said to the angels, فَضْرِبُوا فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ. Usually, hitting with the sword is the anuq, the neck. He said, no, hit above the neck. And I said to him, medically we know the brain stem is above the neck, and if you hit the brain stem, it's instant killing. And he said, could be. Why he said فوق الأعناق, above the neck, not the neck. فاضربوا منهم فوق الأعناق واضربوا منهم كل بنان, destroy their fingerprints. At that time they didn't know that you have unique fingerprints, so destroy even their fingerprints so they will not even be recognized. after killing them. So this is why the spread, because scientifically they can't handle it. If you discuss with them, the Prophet ﷺ, he discussed with them going from Mecca to Jerusalem, Isra, but he didn't tell the Qurayshi about going to Mi'raj. He only said it to the Muslims, the believers, because they take it that it's okay. If you say that, it's correct. They didn't accept traveling from Mecca to Jerusalem. So al-ilm al-ladunni, if you take ilm al-ladunni, the one given to al-Khidr, it's not even given to prophets. Even Musa couldn't handle it. But we're not talking here about that ilm al-ladunni. We're talking about primitive things, small things which we could discover as individuals. But you can't come and claim, oh, Allah told me to kill that boy. Can't do that. Right.
We have a bite in Uzbekistan says, whoever seek hikmah will find hikmah, whoever seek ghurba will find ghurba. That whoever is seeking trouble will find trouble, whoever seek hikmah will find hikmah. So there's two types of people who want to seek hikmah.
Yeah, يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء. But you need to, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, He will give wisdom to whoever He wishes. وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Whoever given wisdom is given a great goodness. But you need to expose yourself to get the hikmah. Be the fertile land to plant the hikmah in you. And subhanAllah, it's like problem solving. Problem solving in this country, very few have ability to problem solve. Even in your home, even your car and things. When you come to, they did the research, they said the highest percentage of genius people who discover things is in Finland, 7 per thousands. In China, half per thousands, but because there is 1,500 million, there's a lot been manufactured in China. In Britain also, 1 per thousands is very low. It's the same in America. So it's just, so that seems that Allah Azza wa Jalla chooses certain people even to discover and things. So here, when you have the knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jalla, He's saying here, فَالْعَارِفْ, he will be busy knowing about Allah Azza wa Jalla, obeying Allah, doing things for the sake of Allah. And he wouldn't waste his time with trivial things. Abu Yazid was asked about this knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jalla. He said, إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا عزة أهلها أذلة. That if Allah Azza wa Jalla wants, when kings enter a city, they could corrupt the city and make the noble people humiliated. But if Allah Azza wa Jalla chose to come to you, Allah chose to give you the knowledge and not the other guy. And Abu Yazid said, للخلق أحوال لا حال للعارف لأنه محيت رسومه. So you have, like, I'm in the mood today, I'm not really clean about this today, I can't do this today, I don't fancy doing that. He's saying the one who have knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jal, he doesn't think about me. I can't. The me and the I go. So he doesn't have any fluctuating mood. He's always calm. He's always, happy. He's always smiling. And he said, الواسطي, he said that لا تصح المعرفة وفي العبد استغناء بالله وافتقار إليه. That because you still feel your existence. If you feel you need Allah Azza wa Jal, and He is the one who will give, you're not knowledgeable about Allah Azza wa Jal, because you still feel your existence. I want Allah Azza wa Jal to cure me, to give me, to succeed me, and so because the Arif Billah is exist and go, only Allah. So I'm not worried. Like when Ibrahim was thrown in the fire, he said, Jibreel asked him, do you need any help? He said, from you, no. He said, ask your Rabbak, ask your Lord. He said, he knows what's going on. I don't even need to ask him. So Allah straight away said, وَقُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla straight away said, be cool and safe on Ibrahim. الافتقار والاستغناء من أمارات صحو العبد وبقاء رسومه. Because when you ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give you. It's like the Ayub, 18 years, he didn't ask Allah Azza wa Jal to cure him. But when it became so difficult for him and his wife, and started becoming, instead of being an example for a prophet, looked after by Allah Azza wa Jal, it became like, where is your God? Why is not helping you? So he asked after 18 years, and Allah said, okay, go there and you will get cured. And the Al-Wasiti said, when you have knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jal, don't talk a lot. You don't have time to talk about what's to talk about. People, just talk about what they bought in the supermarket, who put up the prices, who lowered the prices, what they did in the school, and what the council is doing. And so it doesn't interest you. So even Prophet Muhammad said, I can't thank you enough. There's no way to be able to thank Allah Azza wa Jal, so you accept Allah. Man kana billahi a'raf, kana lahu akhwa. The more you know about Allah Azza wa Jal, the more you are afraid of Allah Azza wa Jal. And man arif Allah Ta'ala, when you know Allah Azza wa Jal, you want Allah. The whole earth become too tight for you. You want, like Allah, the Prophet said, the dunya jannatu sijnul mu'min wa jannatul kafir. The dunya is the prison of the mu'min, the believer, and the jannah of kafir, the great, land for the kafir. There's a lot about it. I'll need to probably stop in a minute or so. Man arif Allah safa lahu al-aish. When you know Allah Azza wa Jal, anything you'll be happy. Any food, any drink, any house, any car, be happy with it. وطابت له الحياة. You enjoy living because you are with Allah Azza wa Jal. وهابه كل شيء. People will start being afraid of you. There's nothing shake him, Like, this guy in Wales, he said to me, when you are angry, what do you use? What swearing words do you use? I said, why, have you heard me swearing? He said, no, that's what I'm asking. I said, I don't swear. Why the swear come? Because they come to the office and they were cursing this, cursing the NHS, cursing the doctor, cursing the GPs if they are consultant, cursing the consultant of these GP. Well, what do you say? So, وهابه كل شيء. And then the is he really, he has backup. Probably he knows the chief executive officer, or he knows this, and they start fearing you. When I was in military hospital in Damascus, they start fearing me. Why? Because, I'm the junior of it was the head of the chest disease, and then he became the head of the hospital. But I'm contrary to him. He is Alawi, he doesn't fast, he doesn't pray. It's nothing to do with Islam. And I was probably the only one who goes to the mosque opposite to the hospital. I'm praying, and openly I'm Muslim. But they started fearing me. How he's managing to go to the mosque, and his boss is kafir. He says, see the contradictions. وذهب عنه خوف المخلوقين. You will never fear the people, and you will really you're comfortable with Allah Azza wa Jal, because Allah with you. And when you have the knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jal, or from Allah Azza wa Jal, you stop wanting things. It's like come clash between you and your wife, or you and your children. Buy this. We need to change this. We need to buy that. We need to go to this. Why? You start, why you need this? And المعرفة توجب الحياء والتعظيم. You become shy from Allah Azza wa Jal and glorify Him. You become like embarrassed to stand in the prayer, not wearing decent clothing, and not, scratching and moving, because before Allah, standing before Allah Azza wa Jal. And knowing Allah Azza wa Jal, if you see the mirror, you will only see Allah Azza wa Jal. You don't see yourself, because you disappeared. You have no existence before Allah Azza wa Jal. Become, what's the importance of one single sand in the Sahara Desert, or in the Rub' al-Khali in Saudi? If you go out of this solar system, out of the galaxy, out of the universe, become irrelevant. You don't have any existence. And he's saying here ركضت أرواح الأنبياء في ميدان المعرفة. And all the prophets were keen to know as much knowledge as possible, but they were the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was the fastest among them. And if there's one Arif Billah, he really knows about Allah Azza wa Jal, he will be so tolerant to you, and he will be forbearing, and he will be showing the characters Allah Azza wa Jal wants him to show. إذا بدأ الشواهد ذهب الحواس بمحل الإخلاص. So you just become like he doesn't exist. Allah Azza wa Jal exists, and the behavior become showing through him, not because he is pretending to be or trying to be, but automatically the behavior Allah wants him to show, it will emit or shine through him. You see what I'm trying to say? Explain. Athar? Yeah. It's not automatically come like if you are a mirror and reflecting what Allah Azza wa Jal wants you to show. This is my prophet. It's like Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You really have a great manner, great behavior. Your image, you know, the Aisha said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. If you want to see a walking Quran, look at Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So become like that level. Your image, أولياء أمتي, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أولياء أمتي من إذا رؤوا ذكر الله برؤيتهم. Those who are connected to Allah Azza wa Jal, when you see them, it reminds you of Allah Azza wa Jal. So if he's messing about, he will go through a different route. But let's behave and put the head cover or do things, you know, adjust their clothing, because then you remind him of Allah Azza wa Jal. I think I'll stop here because it's already 10 minutes above. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. May Allah make our meeting blessed and protect us after leaving here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الحمد لله. Actually, it took Sheikh Yusri Jabr 2 hours to go through. It's quite a lot, but